Hello everyone and welcome to this week's short video tutorial. This will be your weekly English commentary. Today's game was played in 1991. Red was Master Zhao Qingge, Black was Grandmaster Li Lai群, one of my personal favorites. So without further ado, let us begin the game. Master Zhao Qingge started with the central cannon, and Black chose to go for the sandwich horse defense. The third point advancement. And in this match, Webmaster Li Lai群was the first to deviate from the norm by developing his chariot as a left chariot. Now, this move by itself is not problematic or unusual. It is considered to be unorthodox or less commonly seen because usually the horse is played h8 plus 7 or p3 plus 1 in response to red's p3 plus 1. And Red chose to adopt a very steadfast approach to the game by developing his left horse as an edge horse. Now this variation the pace of the game would be much slower, and both colors would slowly fight it out. Now instead of this move, usually R1 equals to 2 is played, and Black would develop the horse as a proper horse, and Red would attack in this manner. Red could also play p7 plus 1, and both are considered to be orthodox variations. So Red chose to develop his chariot as a his left horse as an edge horse. The chariot crosses the palace. Now this was the move that Master Zhang Qiang and Grandmaster Zhang Qiang and Master Xiangqi felt that was problematic because Black had already developed his chariot as a rank chariot and had already occupied this very important red file. So if we were to look at the board now, Red's first 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 files are blocked, and the only move that the red chariot can move to would be to the second, fourth file. The sixth file has already been controlled by Black, and the cannon will impede this movement. And it would not be a good idea to play R1 equals to 2 now, because that would imply a loss of one move. So this was the move that was considered to be problematic. Instead, a4 plus 5 should have been played to prevent Black from advancing his chariot over here. And if Black attacked the cross riverbank rank, targeting the pawn and the horse in this section, Red could simply play e3 plus 1 to protect the pawn and even have the option of developing his chariot r1 equals to 4. So that is why r1 equals to 2 was quite controversial. Black chose to defend prophylactically, and this was perhaps the only line that would be okay for Red to move his chariot to. Now, because of Red's awkward formation, Black immediately drew first blood by advancing his chariot to the palace corner. This would threaten to capture the red cannon over here. Now, this is a commonly used tactic in similar situations. Red is forced to move the cannon to the riverbank. He cannot use the chariot to protect the cannon, or the black cannon will capture the chariot. So e3 plus 5. Red continues to consolidate his defense, choosing the right elephant variation. One advantage of this move is that Black would be able to link his chariots up with r1 equals to 4. And because of its awkward positioning, the red cannon could only attack in this manner, c8 equals to 7. Red threatens to checkmate, forcing Red to raise the advisor, and then Red controlled this file, this flank actually, with this move. So at this point in time, there is one red chariot, one red horse over here, and this is pinned by the cannon, Black's cannon and chariot in the same file, and this chariot was now prepared to attack. And if we were to look at the chariot, the movement of the red chariot a few moves earlier, we can see that at this point in time, just after a few moves, the effects or the presence of this chariot was simply negligible. It did not play any important role in the game. So that is why, at this point, Black can be said to have seized the initiative away from Red and was now controlling the game. So Red plays r4 plus 3, forcing a trade of material. Again, the awkward positioning of the Red Cannon and Chariot on the riverbank will not give Red any options to consider. Moving here is not a good idea. Moving here could lead to very complicated situations, and obviously moving the cannon here might be a possibility, but again the positioning would be still very awkward. So after trading material, we can see that Red had now concentrated 1, 2, 3, 4 major pieces targeting this flank, and because of the pressure that these pieces had applied, Red tried to consolidate his defense, and he tried to do so in this manner by dislodging the central cannon to the palace corner. So he will hope to play, say, e3 plus 5 or e7 plus 5 to link the elephants up and hopefully gain some space for his chariot and horse to be developed. But of course, Black would not allow something like this to happen. Instead, he immediately played c3 plus 4 to capture the pawn. Not only would this give Black a slight pawn advantage or material advantage, it was also a timely move because this move was anticipated, but the positioning of this Black chariot was simply too good. By capturing the pawn, Black could now offer a trade of material and still keep his pressure on this flank. And after trading material, Red was forced to play r4 equals to 8. Now, would r9 equals to 8, which would seem to be a natural move to make, be possible? The answer would be no, because Black already anticipated and was ready to play r4 plus 8. If the Red chariot captured the Black cannon, it would be an immediate checkmate. And after making this move, Black would be prepared to play c2 plus 5 to attack the elephant, and Red would be in all sorts of trouble. So that is why this had to be prevented, and Black had the correct chariot to move will be the one on the riverbank and not the one on the bottom rank. c2 goes to 3, Red links the chariot up. Finally, Black finds some time to develop his left horse. p9 plus 1, and Black starts to attack with r4 plus 8. This move was made to protect and prevent r3 equals to 5. And at this point in time, Black brilliantly sacrificed the pawn with p3 plus 1, threatening to capture the Red chariot. Red must answer this threat, or he will lose momentum. So would r3 plus 2, instead of p3 plus 1, would r3 plus 2 be an option? Because after all, Red would gain an elephant in the process. If this was so, Red would cleverly and ingeniously apply a pin. Now, if you've been following the examples I've been doing on the videos from endgame tactics, this is one of the pins that was recorded, whereby Red uses a horse-elephant combination to pin Black's material. Now, Black would be placed in a very, very awkward situation, because if the chariot moved, the elephant would capture the cannon. If the cannon moved, this horse would capture the chariot. So basically, Red would have pinned these two Black pieces here, and Black's attack will suddenly be halted. So that is why r3 plus 2 to capture the elephant is not a good idea, and Black decided to up one step further to play p3 plus 1. Now at this point in time, as can be seen, the pressure on Red's left flank is tremendous. And how should red resolve this threat? He did it with r8 minus 2 to offer a trade of chariots. Now, would it be a good idea to simply capture the elephant in this manner? The answer would be no, because black would play c3 plus 2. Now, this is a very sneaky move, because afterwards black would be prepared to traverse the cannon, or to say over here, and go for the smothered cannon checkmate. Black's troops will be all over the place, and we will still have to do battle with a very poor formation. Now, what about r8 equals to 7 to offer a trade of material? Black would gladly accept, because at this point in time, after all the moves, black would simply retreat his chariot and threaten with the fork to capture either the elephant or the red horse. Red would have a huge advantage, because at this point in time, red already lacked one elephant, and although the pawns were similar, red's formation was simply scattered, and it was not be able. There was no synergy in this situation. So that is why red, instead of moving the elephant or offering a trade of material, red decided to bear with black's onslaught by retreating the chariot, and hoping that black would offer a trade of material, and such that black's attack would be halted. Now, since red offered a trade of material, black captured the elephant. And after trading material, 1, 2, 3, black would have one chariot, one cannon, and one horse, which is considered to be a better combination than red's one chariot, two horse combination. And at this point in time, red decided to retreat his chariot, hoping that in the process of trying to dislodge this cannon, red would be able to gain some momentum and even some advantage. Now, instead of r8 minus 2, would r8 equals to 6 to trade away the chariot be a good idea? Because after all, the most menacing piece for black, the most menacing black piece would be the chariot. So by trading away the chariot, it would be a good idea. As can be seen, red's formation is still scattered. The elephant was threatening to capture the cannon, so black had to move the cannon away. And finally, red will be able to capture a pawn, and even the pawn deficit. Black will small defense, and after trading material, we can see that red's horses are still relatively undeveloped. Black would now have gained an extra pawn that was ready to cross the river. So overall, black would have a significant advantage, and red's outlook is still very bleak. So black retreats the cannon. Check. And retreating the horse, attempting to apply the pseudo sacrifice as mentioned earlier. And of course, black could have none of it and offered to trade material instead. So after trading material, let us continue with the simple analysis. At this point in time, both colors would have exactly the same amount and type of material. It will be a one chariot, one horse versus one chariot, one horse. Red would lack one elephant, and his defense would be greatly diminished. But otherwise, black would have the upper hand because of the poor positioning of the pieces. So I minus 6 for defense, and black took his time, slowly developing and consolidating his defense before attacking. And Red was prepared to push the pawn to trade material so that it will lessen any future impacts by the pawns. But of course, Black would have none of it, and after much consideration, he made this very exquisite move. Would p7 plus 1 be a good idea to trade material? The answer would be no. After trading material, at this point in time, Red can choose to attack with r9 minus 1. He could also continue with r9 equals to 3. Either way, the target will still be placed on this flank. So back to the main line. There's still some moves over here. Red finally gave up on his plans and moved the chariot into open space, offering a trade of material. And after these few exchanges, there is some things have changed on the board. Black's material has now become very active, and it'll be harder for Red to defend. So, capturing the pawn, immediately the red horse jumps to the riverbank and forward again to capture the pawn. An attempt as Black is trying to set up a discovered attack with this move, so that if he's played r3 plus 4, it will be a check. Now, of course, Red would have none of it, and Black would maneuver his horse to attack from this flank. Now, at this point in time, Red was forced to move his king to safety. Would a5 plus 4 to block the horse be a viable option? The answer would be no. A check will be immediately delivered. And after, with this check, Black gets to adjust his formation a little bit. So Red moved his king, hoping that he will be safe. Black retreats his horse, preparing to launch an all-out offensive. Again, r4, sorry, r6 equals to 8 was played. A check by Black, and Red will raise the advisor to deny the Black horse from moving for advancing forward. A very brilliant move by Punk. In a commentary, this was his recommended move, because after applying this situation, Black can retreat to the bottom rank for defense. r9 goes to r9 plus 7. Sorry. r9 plus 7. Check. And after a series of to and fro checks, Black could make use of deadly shots with the Chariot horse combination. And he managed to capture the advisor in the process of doing so. And once this happened, the match would be probably nearing its end. A very brilliant move. And Black moved, charged his elephant to the riverbank rank. Threatening to capture the horse, a check. And Black was insisted on getting his resume correct. And at this point in time, after Black made this move, Red finally succumbed and resigned, because Black was now prepared to gain more material, and his defense plus the possibility of a black pawn would be more than what Red could handle. So back to the beginning for a short summary. Okay, the central cannon, sandwich horse defense. Red develops the chariot very early on, and unfortunately for Red, he would copy suit, and now some prophylactic defense, and Black could now draw first blood by advancing his chariot to the palace corner. Now, such a strategy is also commonly seen in similar situations. Okay, c8 plus 2, prophylactic measure, threatening to checkmate, and black moved his chariot to the 8th file in the nick of time. At this point in time, we can see who has. It is very clear that black has the supreme example. Now, all the important lines have been occupied, and black would now start to storm or add a lot of pressure to this flank. So, after trading material, a timely move by the black cannon. Again, some nifty maneuvering by red. Black finally develops his left horse. Again, sacrificing the pawn was black's attempt at trying to pry open red's defense. Now, usually on the surface, it would seem to be a rather meaningless position or post because of the age of the computers. But back in the old days, the person announcing the results was also a very key point on the arbitring team for tournaments. How did red respond? Trade of material. Before I forget, e5 plus 7 will lead to the cannon moving this manner, and r8 equals to 7. Sorry, r equals to 7 would be another change in the direction of the game. Black decided to capture the elephant in this manner, and after trading material, the material black would have erased this material deficit and still be able to live happily ever after. Now, red retreated his cannon again, hoping to apply a pin. Now, what would it be a good idea if black tried to trade material in this manner? We shall see. After trading material, black will still go for a attack on the left flank and capturing the pawn, protecting the pawn, and red will still have a very bleak outlook. So r8 minus 2, of course, black will take the opportunity to maneuver his cannon to safety. Retreat. And after a few more moves, red offered a trade of material which the Grandmaster flatly did not want to play. So I minus r plus minus 6 by red. And after a few to and fro's, the material on the board will be identical for both colors. So it will be a Chariot horse versus Chariot horse endgame situation, which will be the theme. Okay, black draws first blood with r6 equals to 3. So after a few nifty moves, red would have taken out a pawn at the expense of the elephant. Red and his ex-wife's photos. Okay, r equals to 6. Attempting to go for the elbow horse checkmate, and everything will be fine. So that is why after to and fro and some very nifty maneuvering of the Chariot horse combination, at this point in time, black Huang Lihong was prepared to go shopping, whatever, because now the pawn will be captured. So I hope you have enjoyed this short video. I'm still struggling with the site. There was some technical issues, but I've been trying my best to keep the work going on. Thank you, and if you like the material that I've presented today, please do subscribe to my channel and like the video.